Welcome to Three Devs and a Maybe, the podcast series for beginner web developers and general web enthusiasts. Now, introducing your show hosts, Michael Budd, Fraser Hart, Lewis Caines, and Ed Mann.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Three Devs and a Maybe, the web development podcast. I am Keir, joined currently by Ed Mann.
Hello.
And Lewis Caines.
Good evening, sir.
Unfortunately, Michael's not with us. He was about 5 minutes ago, but he's just had to rush off. As he's described before, not described, as he's mentioned before, his wife is very close to giving birth. And they've, I don't know if they've gone to give birth, but, you know.
Word on the street is she was so excited about our show tonight. And
I think it was Lewis's new haircut.
Lewis's new haircut made it all the difference.
If there is a web podcast out there that can put women into labour, then this will have to be it.
It certainly is.
That's our slogan. That is officially the slogan.
And
that's going on another T-shirt.
It should do, yeah. It's probably because she came in and saw us on video as well that she got a bit excited.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but
it went down there.
Yeah,
I love the fact that all our
podcasts
seem to start now with pregnancy and babies.
And Naked Michael as well.
And Naked Mike, yeah, that kind of goes with the part.
Yeah, we literally about 2 minutes ago we just tweeted a picture of Naked Michael, but that was before we realised he was going to be leaving. So if anyone really wants to see what Naked Michael was looking like this evening, you can get on there. But unfortunately, he's not going to be on the podcast with us today.
Oh dear, absolutely.
Rather seductive leaning over shot as well there.
It really is, yeah. You can see right down his chest.
And I don't know what's going on with me in that picture. And Ed's looking bored.
Right, so I guess we should probably go around and find out how everyone's week's been. So we'll start off because you're on my left there, Ed, on my Skype view. So we'll start off with you. How's your week been?
It's been great, man. Yeah, great episode last week, by the way, guys. Sorry about that. That was kind of a bit of a random one. Trains and whatnot. Relying on train services is always good. And now you guys knocked it out of the park. I do love trains. That was a definite thing. Thanks, Lou. Thanks for that.
Anyone out there? Ed is a passionate train connoisseur.
And a Trekkie.
Oh, that was great. That was another thing out of this podcast. Yeah, so I did send a tweet out last week, probably a couple of weeks ago when it actually kind of was recorded. But yeah, so if you don't ever miss an episode of Three Devs and a Maybe if you're a host, because you will become a Trekkie and simply Ed or something. There was
that's the thing. I thought Michael pulled that off really well.
Well, you believed him. You were believing him.
That's the thing. We met up with Michael at the weekend. I was like, I didn't actually know that Ed was a Trekkie. I didn't know he'd been to all these conventions. He's like, no, he hasn't. It was just.
I was in the middle of London walking in the morning, and I was like, no. And oh dear. But no,
I can see it. I can definitely see it.
But it's been a great week, busy week. But I've got a couple of picks this week as well. I'm kind of prepared, so I'm looking forward.
Fantastic. Well, do you want to go into those now, or no? Actually, we'll find out how Lewis has been, and then we'll come back to your picks. Yeah,
Lewis with the new haircut.
Lewis has got
How's your week been,
new haircut.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my week's flying by again. I'm very, very busy with 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, five bits on the go.
When you have to use your hands and then your feet as well, you know you've got quite a lot of work on.
I thought you were going to say your dodgy hands or feet. If you have to do that, to count
when you've got to use your hands and feet to count, you know you've got enough work on.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, got 5 things on the go at the moment. 2 of which are reskins, and reskins aren't.
You mean in quote reskin, yeah? Or is it a WordPress theme reskin, or is it
no? This is an old code remaking page.
And with your reskins, how do you go about that? Do you start again from scratch, or do you basically take the current style sheet and then change the style, or kind of use that as a base and build on top of that, and just do those selectors with importance everywhere?
The important. You just
before I do either of those things, I have a little cry first.
Yeah,
couple of tears.
It all depends. Yeah, I find it easier to strip the whole thing out and start building it again. I just literally copy all the file into another page and then start making it again, and then bring back in the bits and bobs that I need, rather than trying to hack around with everything that's there.
Yeah. It's one of those things which looks like it sounds easier to do it that way, like beforehand, but then you spend hours doing it, as you say. You're better off just starting again.
Yeah, actually, there's 2 different ways, because there've been 2 different types of reskin. One is just like literally just remaking some HTML pages. And then the other one is this data room thing that my company does. I've had to hack around with the whole structure of that as well. But so with that particular one, because it's such a big code base and I didn't make it, I've just literally been building on top of it because I've been worried to change like individual bits of the code. Because
is that in Ye?
Yes. Ye it is.
Ye, woo, ye.
So yeah, two very different styles. Yeah, one where I don't touch the code base, and the other one where I just rewrite from scratch. That's my main. How do you do it?
It's a similar thing. It always depends on the project. And
I hate the word reskin.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be such an easy project. When someone comes to you and says, "Oh, can you reskin this?" You think, "Oh, it's fine, just messing around with CSS." And then I had to reskin an online store, and it was built on not OpenCart. This was a few years ago. It wasn't OpenCart. It was one of these open source.
ZenCart?
Nah, it was built on. I think it was built on Drupal. Ooh. I can't remember anyway, but it was one of these things. Oh, can you just like do some different style into this? It was like the worst, like most unenjoyable thing. Like
you make up awesome words on this podcast. I'm going to cut out like at the end of the year. I'm going to have this. This is
just have like a little compilation. Yeah, unenjoyable. Yeah, it was anyway. It was a horrible task, and I got there in the end. But it was literally just. I don't want to say hacking, but it was hacking the CSS more than anything else.
Isn't it? Because
it is.
It's not a reskin then. It's a new implementation based on like the idea is based on kind of and certain bits maybe aspects of it, but they're not. Yeah, it's not.
You can't get away from the hacking element though, can you?
Not at all. No.
Not if you're reskinning in quotes.
This is the first time. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but this is the first time where I've written an actual coded apology commented out at the top of a CSS file that I've worked on.
You're such a nice guy.
Just oh dear, it's awful, but it had to be done that way to get it to work.
How many importance did you search? How many importance?
Exclamation mark important in your
all over the place.
Control C in everywhere.
As you guys know, when you're up against a deadline as well, and you just have to get to the
that's agency work, isn't it? As well, you've got to ship it out the door, and then that's I always find with the importance, obviously, is that once you start, then you don't stop because everything needs a little bit.
As soon as the first one goes in, it's all downhill from there.
It's like we don't want to use classes, the higher, the priorities and stuff. No, let's just whack an important on there because oh, brilliant, dear. But other than that, though, Lou, all right with work and stuff.
I actually, guess what I did today for the first time?
Dun dun dun.
I used an interface.
Hey,
I've been messing around.
Yeah,
I've been trying to bring in some of these new PHP bits and stuff. So I thought, I don't care how I do it. I'm gonna get an interface into something that I'm doing.
You're
gonna
work it in there. It's like today it's gonna have that.
Yeah. So basically, it's a project that I'm working on for myself at the moment. It's not actually part as a live work project, but
these Dropbox.
Yeah, this is to do with that. This data room thing that I'm basically making my own version with based on kind of the feedback. Are you drinking beer, Fraser?
No, this is just water.
Oh, it looked like a can of Red Stripe. Sorry.
No, it's just my
bottle of Red
water bottle.
Sorry, how easily distracted I am. I've been working around because I'm been learning. Did you hear? Last week I said I'm back into Laravel quite heavily. So I've been working a lot on like the abstraction kind of things and dependency injection and things like that. And I thought, right, today I'm going to use an interface. And first of all, I had to figure out, right, where exactly am I going to use it? But then I thought, well, the idea of what I'm going to use for like the remote storage is probably a good idea for that. So
you may have different implementations of the same
Absolutely,
thing.
Yeah. So that was cool. So there's an interface now involved in my work. So
nice,
awesome.
It's very cool.
It's not that exciting, but it's always good.
It's fun it's fun actually to put these things in practice, isn't it? It's hearing them and then actually using them in practice and kind of getting
moving along with the times in PHP, but also understanding why using them. I've been doing a lot of heavy PHP research last couple of weeks into some of these more in depth things like
things.
Traits and things that I haven't ever really needed to use in projects before, but obviously everyone's kind of using them now, so get stuck in with those. So,
well, it's a great thing because I think I showed you that what's it called? Fly system.
Oh, Fly PHP, something like that.
Fly system. I think it's called
Fly system.
That's it. Fly system, and it's amazing. Like what it is, I'll just quickly put it in the Skype so you lot can check it out.
It's a package that basically supports.
And it abstracts out by this interface, so you conform to this interface and you're able then to access these data stores such as SFTP, FTP, if you're still there, Dropbox, S3, blah, blah, blah. And so all these things, you're able to use the same interface and just really build it up like that.
The penny really dropped on why you would use interfaces while I was doing this now, actually, because it's obviously, if you code using an interface, you're more or less likely to break it because it's going to actually like the debugging if it.
Well, this is it, yeah, because you have to
you
conform. Because it's almost like because it's a contract. So what you're saying there is, look, if you want to be one of me, if I'm going to use you, I require that you. And the nice thing is with with actual type languages like Java, also when you compile it, or check to make sure. But with PHP, you can do stuff like type hinting. So you can pass in and you used to say, look, you have to be of this type of interface or this type of class. And then you get that kind of assurance as you say, look, that it's same with these adapters, saying like, look, if you want to use me or Dropbox or FTP, you have to comply with this, interface that I use and I can call these methods on you and stuff. And though you don't get the type checking and the type returns and stuff in PHP, you still get the actual name so you can know that. So, no, good on you, man. Yeah. It's awesome, isn't it? It's cool just to have a...
It's an exciting project, that's for sure.
Yeah, and just learning new stuff as well. Like learning new stuff is just it's awesome. Yeah,
I'm trying to learn unit testing as well at the moment, and I still haven't got to the point where I've seen it. I'm still at the theory point of that. I haven't actually seen any real working examples of it being used in the project, and that's usually when the penny drops for me with certain things. So,
are you using Laravel for this project?
For the data room thing that I'm making? Yeah.
Right, so I'll tell you one thing that would be really cool for you. So unit test wise and stuff, one of the things I found that I first started to do it for was functional tests. Yeah. And like, it's kind of a black box thing where you kind of say like, so stuff like, you're able to run, say, your actual application through like a fake browser it will be. But actually, it's just all in PHP, so it's quite quick compared to actually loading up like Selenium and stuff. And you can say stuff like, when I post this form, it will return an error saying, please input your password and stuff. If you start building up those type of things, you can do that quite nice, because Laravel uses the Symfony browser kit and stuff like that. And you automate these tests. And I found with testing, it does take a while, because if you're going to do tests, you're going to write these specs and you're going to write these edge cases. But if you think about it, how many times are you going to hit that bit of code automatically now when you run the unit tests instead of having to manually test it? Yeah, I don't want to manually test stuff, It's like, you think about it, like when you go for the deployment, you want to be able to run these tests because that's what you do, like a CI server or Jenkins and stuff, and say, look, the test pass, I at least have confidence. So you're not 100% certain that this code's not going to break because you can never be that certain. But you can say, I've got confidence in the fact that it's hit, it's, all these kind of edge case, all these kind of code, places in the code, it's actually, hit. Or sorry, that I have in the code, it's hit and it has, passed what I expected it to do at that time. So, no, it's quite cool.
I get the feeling there's very much two sides to it. There's the actual learning the technical side of it, and then there's the actual skill of applying it.
I tell you what, the practical thing,
writing tests that are actually going to be important rather than.
Yeah, I've definitely kind of opened my eyes now when I work with this new job about like doing testing and how to do it. There's so many different styles and verbosity. Like, there's one thing now that I was with like OOs and stuff. I was very kind of put a lot into a function, but now I've kind of been able to the idea of separating things out and just using private functions a lot and giving verbosity in that. Because like one of the things I actually learned was really like if you have to comment a bit of your code, actually that's a bit of a code smell, because really you should abstract that out into an own function or something because it's doing too much. Like, the name of the function. And I was thinking, I was like, oh, yeah, sure. But then actually looking at it and looking how people actually were able to abstract this stuff out, I was like, that makes a lot more sense. And one of the things definitely with unit tests is to not be scared of using private functions. Use private functions like crazy. If it makes like, if you have one test, but then you abstract them out to a couple of things, but actually have context for, because the idea of a unit test really is, or a test in general, it should read like English. You should be able to read it out, and, that kind of gives self-documentation on it.
Yeah, have you dabbled in it, Fraser, at all?
Not at all, no. It's something that's kind of, I've not even come as far along as you have in thinking about it, to be honest, just because obviously the environment I'm working in and the priorities are getting stuff out the door and working, I don't know, rather than perfecting everything. So I think it's something that I do want to learn, but when I'm going to learn it, I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Yeah, and your company are obviously hot on it then, Ed, all your stuff.
Well, because it's one product, and because it's not this is the thing with it being one product, and you've got that code base for a long time. I think the thing that with agency work and the thing with different products is, if you write a bit of code and it's for one product, you're going to have that code for years to come.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure, tech debt and all this stuff. So it's quite a cost to the company for it to be, around. But if it's an agency work, you're shipping stuff out the door and you probably never want to see it again. And that is kind of a good thing because it means actually then that you don't get legacy in a sense. It's kind of weird because you don't get legacy in the sense that you can go back and say, well, not go back, sorry, but you can say, like, oh, now we're using Laravel. We don't use CodeIgniter anymore. Now, if you had a big product, though, that you put a lot of man hours in that was CodeIgniter, you'd still have to use CodeIgniter until you migrated it. But in the agency world, you'd be like, oh, no, now we use, for this bit of work, we can use that. Yep. So there's benefits. There's like swings and roundabouts on which way is the best way to go. Yep. Well, no, not best way to go, but, what the pros and cons of both. But I think, I think unit testing, I think it's just, it makes sense, like in the sense of, one thing actually, sorry I keep rambling here, but on GitHub and stuff, it's quite cool that making a project with a couple of mates and just writing codes. And there was the thing we do at this job now is also like pull requests. So every feature has a pull request. And then people in the team are meant to comment on that, on your code. Which can seem quite daunting because, they comment on your code and, I'm sure...
I take it because you're the new guy, you're just being nice to everyone.
I honestly, I haven't done any of that yet properly.
Just go steaming in there. That is the worst piece of I've ever seen.
No, I think they're doing that to me and I love it because you just have to kind of bite your tongue. But guess the only way of learning is by, being wrong. I think that's the great thing. And, I really would like actually, I'm just wondering, like with all of us, like maybe getting a Git repo set up and we just play around with some code. And
we were going to do that a while back, weren't we?
Yeah, but like even though you just spend probably half hour every week just committing some stuff, just throughout the week, and we just do Git commits. We play around with version control properly. We get like using pull requests and stuff, and really it's just kind of trial and error. The code doesn't really matter as long as it's just we're trying to get through the process.
Just actually working on getting a team kind of environment, because I've only ever used it on my own for my own stuff. I've never worked on a project with Git with other people.
And I think the nice thing here would be like if it's not just it wouldn't be a project like that we have to take seriously. It would just be something that we can just play around with, and then kind of, and then you like unit stuff like that. So, but I completely forgot where we're at. That was a massive.
That's all right. Well, how was your week going, Fraser? What have you been up to?
It's been all right, thank you. Obviously met up with you guys on the weekend for Michael's kind of pre-baby having bit of a boozy lunch, and that was good.
The baby didn't have a boozy lunch. We did.
No, the baby didn't have a boozy lunch. But
didn't wet the baby's head. I still think that's the worst saying ever.
But it is a saying, though.
I know. I just thought,
because have you heard of that before, Lewis?
Yeah, I don't think of it as a saying. I think of it as an excuse.
Oh, okay, fair enough. It's like tradition. Like, if someone has a kid, then you need to go out and get drunk. It's fairly standard. Summing up with those guys, had a bit of a boozy one at the weekend, and this week I have been working with Angular quite a little bit.
Oh, how's it going?
And
it's good. I'm really enjoying it.
The team, or
oh,
sorry, that was a joke before anyone slams me on Twitter.
So if you remember, a couple of months back before I went away, I kind of started a project in Angular, and then I got like 3 or 4 days into it, and then left to go off on my trip, and then came back, and then one of the other developers had kind of taken it over, and he developed it quite a long way. So it's in a really good state, to be honest. He's done it. It's good, yeah. Okay. So they're all like, just for listeners' sake, they're all giving me the thumbs up and all the thumbs down kind of question mark, trying to get some venom out of me, but no, he's done a really, really good job of it. But it's been kind of tough for me because my only exposure to Angular previously was these 3 or 4 days when I was actually setting the project up in the first place. So it was like
of time then, 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, loads of time. Yeah. So it was all very early stages. So he's worked on this like solidly non-stop for about 2 months. So he's like, and he'd never touched Angular before either. So he's now 2 months ahead in his development of Angular. So I had to jump into his 2-month deep swimming pool and try and work out what was going on, because he's away on holiday for a couple of weeks now. So a few features. So it's taken me 3 days to basically. There's a few bugs. We've built like a kind of a slimmed down WYSIWYG and stuff, because it's the project is. It's kind of, you know how like Vistaprint you can go on, you can say I want business cards that look like this, and I want it to have this text in this color and this font and stuff. The project is something similar to that, but not with like business cards and stuff. It's kind of like so it's
like t-shirts where you can buy them online.
It could be t-shirts. It's not t-shirts, but it could easily be transferred to t-shirts.
3 days maybe t-shirt store is open.
What's the URL for that guy?
I think it's 3 Des and a Maybe dot spreadsheet.
Spreadshirt.
Why? Spreadsheet. Spreadshirt.
Yeah, Spreadshirt.
I need to. What I tell you, I need to do. I need to do a redirect or something on a domain of ours. So we can just do shop.3 Des and a Maybe or something.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Sorry, you carry on. I completely.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So
Oh, sorry.
this thing that we're making, we've built this kind of this slimmed down WYSIWYG, and he's developed that up, and it's really really good. But it's been kind of hard for me getting in.
Can I open source it?
I don't think so. No, because it's going out to pretty much, yeah. Not me.
No. What the other guy
Stefan did. Yeah, Stefan did.
What sort of what did he use for that? Did he use as an iframe or a content editable div or something like that? Or
a content editable div? It's really good. Like, there's a lot of JavaScript commands that actually do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. To be honest, like your selections, you can get the 4-color and you can get the font and stuff, and it's all built into JavaScript anyway. So the actual selection and the applying of
I'm trying to. Are they still the? I'm wondering if they're still the functions that they were when I looked it up a little while back, or whether they've actually bought something newer out that does it. I can't remember.
No, I think they're the old, because some of the documentation I was looking at was like 2002, 2003.
What's like the fallback on that? Have you got like saying the IE 9 plus or something?
We're doing IE 8 plus, and we've tested it in IE 8, and surprisingly it works.
There you go.
It's really good. There was a couple of niggling things, like for instance, I was saying about 4-color and font color and stuff. IE doesn't recognize font color, whereas Chrome and Firefox and Safari, I believe, do recognize.
So decent browsers do
font color. So to get it to work in IE, you have to use 4-color rather than font color. So that was one of the bugs that we had to work out. And there was a few little bugs. So it was kind of me in 3 days trying to get up to speed with what he's done in 2 months, and I still haven't got a clue how most of it works, but it's certainly given me a bit of an insight. So I've been writing my own directives and stuff now as well, so that's really good. And a pick, I might as well say the pick now. It's related to something that I mentioned a few weeks back, or a couple of months back. This guy Dan Wallin or something, he's done a really really good like 60 minutes intro to Angular, and that's what I first looked at when I was getting into it. And it's just a real eye opener. Like, I went from having no knowledge of Angular whatsoever to learn it, or not to learn it, but to having enough to get going on this project. And then all the time that I've been doing this stuff for the last 3 days, where I've been kind of thinking, hang on, I'm a bit out of my depth here. I've been going through he's got loads of documentation on there as well. And it's the way he writes is really, really good. And I just find it really easy to understand the way he teaches. And he's actually got,
to get the link for that.
It's good. He's got awesome. He's got a full-on Angular course, because from what I can work out, he's like one of the best Angular developers he's an Angular dude on the internet. But he's got like a full course, like from nothing, from like zero to hero on Angular.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's like $40 or something. So I think I'm going to splash out for that.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
It looks phenomenal.
Ed, is Angular the one you recommended to me?
Yeah, everyone seems to be doing Angular. Like,
I
have no. Coming to me for like front end frameworks, I really have limited knowledge. Like, I played a bit with Ember a little bit, Backbone back in like a couple of years ago. I did, but no professional like work on any of them really. So I
jumped to Angular just because I went to Stack Overflow. I was kind of tossing up between Ember and Overflow, and there's like 3 times the amount of questions asked and answered for Angular than there is for Ember. So for me, it was a bit of a no-brainer, like coming to something.
That's a really good like heuristic to work out on, like what to actually use, because I suppose you've got there's a kind of double-edged sword there. One, either that it's more popular, or 2, it's worse.
It's impossible, yeah.
But I think actually, as you say, if it's got more of a community behind it, then you know. That's kind of how things win out sometimes, because it may not be the best or anything, but if you can ask a question and you're going to get an answer, why, what's the point in using something that's mysterious and kind of not used?
Yeah, too right. Because the last thing you want to do is kind of get your hands dirty with something that, if you do hit a hurdle, then
this is it. You're kind of stumped.
You're in there by yourself.
That's it.
And that's the great thing about web development, because everyone's so happy to chat and discuss everything. So kind of I jumped 2 feet into the deeper pool of community anyway.
Absolutely, sir.
Perfect. So you were saying you've got some hot picks there, Ed.
I do. I have quite a few actually, so I'll go through them quite quickly. So yeah, my first pick is, so I've put it in the show in the chat log is it's speed in software development. It's a really interesting post. It's quite long, but it's quite interesting to talk about, and it talks about like how like an IT company should deal with software development and how they should think about it. It's a really interesting read, and it kind of just opens your eyes up to like different types of things. Like they have this really funny thing called Orange Fridays, where every Friday you don't do like proper work. You don't do like work. You do like ideas, kind of like Google do their like 20% is kind of experimentation and stuff.
Yep.
And they go for this idea of, you have your marathons and then you have your sprints and stuff where you're working kind of extreme for a sprint, and then you'll have like a couple of months of working in a marathon pace where it's a little less extreme. Because really working it in fast, like trying to churn out features all the time, it's just not possible. It isn't possible. Like you're not going to produce good code. So working, in this kind of idea this way is really quite an interesting kind of concept. So that's one of the ones. Another one is Stack PHP, and I've been talking to one of the guys behind it, and he hopefully will come on the podcast in a couple of weeks. It'll be quite cool. And the idea behind this is quite simple, really. It kind of takes the idea of Rack and Whiskey. More Rack actually in Whiskey, and the idea there is that it kind of provides an interface. Like the way that PHP works at the moment is with this single SAPI, and that's called a server API. And you know how we get like the globals of like get and post and all that stuff? With like Rack and Ruby isn't really a language that's actually made for the web, neither is Python. So what they do is they interface through the web kind of request and response cycle using this kind of common interface. And what this is trying to do is kind of implement that in PHP world with the kind of taking what Symfony 2 has done with the HTTP interface, and using that and kind of providing this idea of being able to compose like applications through this idea of a stack where you have middlewares, which is also around in like the node stuff, and you can like say like, I want this application now to have sessions, and you can kind of compose it inside of it, and it will call that and then call the application. And it's an interesting like idea, and I think it really, hopefully, fingers crossed, will take like kind of take off, because Laravel and stuff use the Symfony 2 kind of interface. I mean, that's the trouble, trying to get one interface that everyone wants to abide by. But no, that's quite a cool one. And another one I've got is I remember, Lou, did you say you listened to the Loosely Coupled podcast a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I've listened to a few of those.
Yeah,
really
like
good.
One of the guys from that, he had a really interesting. It's a shame that Mickey isn't here, because a blog post on avoiding burnout.
Awesome.
Okay.
Short whiteboard.
Yeah, that is his. It's an awesome handle, isn't it? But yeah, it's a really interesting read. That it's descriptive, isn't it? I suppose Yeah. And finally, I haven't got the link for this, but I recently, like a couple of weeks ago, I was able to go to Bletchley Park and go and see what Alan Turing, like the Enigma machine, and broke the Enigma machine stuff. I really was interested in it. It's really cool. We definitely all should do a 3 devs meet up for it or something.
That would be sweet.
Sometime. And I was trying to get my head around the Enigma machine, and my dad's into electronics. He was trying to teach me that kind of side, and I still couldn't grasp it. So I ended up going home and writing it in PHP, which made a lot more sense to me. So I'll put that in the show notes. And
just write a code breaking machine.
Well, actually, this is a cipher. So this actually just encrypts the machine.
Okay.
Encrypts the text, and it's really interesting how it works. But OO is a really cool concept for it, because like this, the idea of OO is you're able to kind of, more kind of design, take concepts that are in the real world and then actually put them into code. And OO is really interesting for this kind of example where it's got a hardware machine, but then you're able to express it in code in these object form. And it's a really interesting one. So that is my last pick. So Lou, have you got any picks?
I've got two, actually. I should check over my one little thing I quite like doing these days is putting my little tips on Twitter. Occasionally, I find good ones, and sometimes they're probably rubbish.
You should kind of like correlate them. Well, correlate. I mean, what's the word? To cohort? No. What's the one where you aggregate them or something each week? And
yeah, I know what you mean. I just can't think of the word either. But the first thing that I found last week, which I do, maybe you heard this or not, Fraser, is using the HTML5 download attribute on an A tag when it's a file, if it's a link to a file.
Okay.
As well as in the href tags. If you put exactly the same thing in download tags, then it forces a download.
Oh,
that's awesome. I had no idea about that tag.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah, because we used to have to do stuff in the htaccess file to handle that kind of thing.
To force the headers and stuff.
But PHP headers also, yeah. Whereas this just does it. So,
and you can also put the name in, can't you? There as well. You can say what that file. I mean, that's just awesome.
That's really cool.
It's a shame it's HTML5 only. So you're always like, this is awesome, but then when can I use it? And it's
not really, because then you can just completely ignore IE 9 and below. Like
plus
it doesn't
one,
even exist.
Plus one to that.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
If everyone starts writing everything in HTML5 only, then
that is it, isn't it? You're going to force their hand. I mean, yeah. I think you make a valid point there.
You're like bully them out of the internet.
Yeah, you don't deserve the internet anymore.
Yeah,
you're not even real people.
The second thing is, I kind of read over this, but I'm quite intrigued by the idea of the blog post. Is this guy that's posted on Twitter today? He does all his web hosting now through Dropbox and GitHub.
All right.
Because he just from skimming over it.
That's a very cool website blog.
Yeah, he just got stung repeatedly by using like shared servers and things like that. So he decided to go and try and experiment with this route, and it's quite a well written article, but it's got pros and cons of the whole thing. So I'm not going to.
With GitHub and stuff, isn't it like static, and you have to use Jekyll and.
Yeah, you have to use it. Yeah, there are things that it doesn't support and stuff. But he says he's managed to make it work for him. So I'd say give it a read and decide whether you think it might suit you or not. So, and the final one is, I've talked about like scroll bars before and using Scroll Pane, which I'm sure is one of the ones that a lot of people have used.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, sometimes I have inconsistent results with that. I don't know how kind of reliant it is on the CSS around it being absolutely spot on or whatever, but yesterday I found this one, which I've just put in the show notes, perfect scroll bar.
This has got to be work if it's perfect. You can't call something perfect if it doesn't work.
It's absolutely spot on. It's a really small little repo that you can stick in there and just literally call perfect scroll bar on, say it's an unordered list or something like that. You just put a wrapping div on that.
Ooh.
Yep.
Set a height. Interestingly, you have to set overflow hidden rather than overflow auto on it, but that's it. It says in the documentation, it gives it a few sort of configuration things that it needs, but it's nice, works really nicely. So
it's got a great demo page as well. I really I love these demo pages. There's one thing that kind of with the whole GitHub philosophy, you kind of just have a GitHub page that just says what it does. Simple example, boom, there we go. Because as devs, we've got quite a short attention span. This is cool. Exactly. This is it. We get the example and then we'll work out what we need to do with it afterwards.
Yeah. So if anyone out there has grappled with scroll bars like I have over the years, then give this a go. This is certainly one that I'll be using from now on. So
sweet.
Yes. But thanks to Scroll Pane for the memories.
Thank you for the memories. You're gone. I found a new girl. She's perfect. She's perfect scroll bar.
And she's not as old.
She's not
what's
as
going to be the next
as
one?
you. She's
absolutely
not as
friggin' amazing scroll bar.
Yeah.
I might write that one.
God, you're just on to the next, Lee, When are you going to settle down, you player?
You scroll bar player.
You scroll bar player.
I just can't get enough.
That's another t-shirt, by the way.
Once I've scrolled once, I'm on to the next.
Keep scrolling onto the next. Keep scrolling.
Scroll to the bottom of the
water. Scrolling to the bone. Oh dear. So I think that's all picks done for the week.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Are we ready to kind of
There's
have a little
link in there?
Oh, thank you, sir. So,
no worries.
Are we ready to have a little bit of fun with some quizzing? Because
I think we are.
I think that's kind of what the plan of this week was we kind of have a week out from like teaching, or kind of talking to anyone and all that stuff, and really just have a bit of fun with a quiz. Because what the idea was, we're all going to go for our questions. We have 10 each, and hopefully,
some better than others.
But I mean,
mine are pretty terrible.
Yeah,
way to pick up your questions. Yeah, but yeah,
I actually I should probably say I did steal some of mine from an online quiz, so I will put the quiz in the show notes if anyone wants to go and do the whole quiz. After it, of course.
So I thought I could do is I could, I think maybe we all just. I mean, if each person, when we're doing our round, we all tally up for that, for that round, correlate them at the end. Whoever wins all the marbles, and they get to go home with marbles. Who wants to go first?
That's so funny because I feel like I've lost my marbles.
Okay, so who wants to go first?
I will. I've got right the way there. They're rubbish.
Lou, bring them on.
Oh God! I should say before I even start that trying to actually find 10 questions that I thought were actually good was not easy because it wasn't easy to think up what kind of question. No, these aren't excuses. And as a disclaimer, I really apologise if any of the information's out of date here. I've tried to find things that aren't deprecated. Because
nothing
knowing my
can be
luck,
as bad as Mickey's. I found a blog post randomly online that some weird person made that says that like you use the most popular framework available in 2014 or something. So I think you're all right there, man.
First one. Can you explain the differences between define and const?
No.
No, just
yeah.
Fair enough.
I know how
I'm going to be saying that a lot this evening.
Okay. So,
Edward?
const is you use that in the class, don't you? Like a class step. So in classes, an object in PHP, you can have a constant that then like it's all caps, and then you can't change the constant. I don't think you can change the constant. You shouldn't be able to change the constant. Define is used. You can define, and I think that's global for like the whole of the application. Then can have it, but an object. But then a constant's only for that object. So you have to say like I call it like a static. Like cheese : type, and that could be a constant on that class.
Yeah, basically, until PHP 5.3, const could not be used in the global scope. You could only use this from within a class. This should be used when you want to set some kind of constant option or setting that pertains to that class. Or maybe you want to create some kind of enum. Define can be used for the same purpose, but it can only be used in the global scope. So it should only be used for global settings that will affect the entire application. Question number 2. So that's 1 to Ed. Okay. So in PHP, will a comparison of an integer 12 and a string 13 work in PHP?
Oh. Yes.
And why?
Yes, because it's not a... what's the phrase they use? It's not a strong set. It's not strong set language, is it? Is it strong set? No, it's not strong set. That's the wrong phrase. But strong type, yeah. Yeah, there we go. So yes, it will work.
Okay, Ed?
Yes, it will, because it uses type juggling.
Okay, I don't know what type juggling is, and I don't know what the thing Fraser said is, but the answer I have is yes, you're both right. 13 and 12 can be compared since it casts everything to an integer.
Yep, yeah, so it will cast, like, it will use the first thing saying, oh, we know you want to compare, and it will do juggling, so it will juggle the string into an integer and then do the comparison.
How's about then if the string was 0, 1, 2 and you were comparing that to 12?
0, 1, 2.
Because obviously you got the lead in 0, haven't you?
It was still kind of.
Really?
I think it would go to 12. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it will cut off. Or sometimes it's quite funny because then JavaScript
strongly typed.
That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah.
Oh, no googling. No googling.
In Java, in JavaScript, when you do like pass in.
Yeah.
You pass in and you say like 0, 1.
Yeah.
It will actually bugger up because it will think that 0, because a leading 0 is actually called in octal. So you have to take that it's base 10. Yeah, it's one of those bugs in JavaScript. But anyway, go for it, Lou.
Okay, question number 3. What is the function funcNumArgs used for?
Number of arguments. To work out how many arguments are required in a function.
Okay, Ed?
That's used so you can grab all the arguments for that function dynamically, and that's like what the like in an array format. So you can you get because we're going to have varidatic functions there soon, aren't we? That allow us to have all the arguments here. Just take them and put them into an array. NumArgs. Oh no, funcNumArgs.
NumArgs.
Damn it! Well, I got that wrong then.
You might be too late.
Yeah, I am too late with that one.
You were right. I think you were right about funcGetArgs or call user func_array or whichever one that is. No. So Fraser's actually taken the lead there.
Oh, Fraser.
Yes. So I got it right then, did I?
Oh no, hang on. You didn't get number 1 right, did you?
No, I didn't.
My scoring system is appalling here.
But we're even Stevens, yeah.
2. Okay, yeah. So number 4. What is the main difference between include and require? In terms of using them to get a file, obviously.
Another really good question, can I say, by the way?
Yeah, it
Well,
is.
I've kind of tried to find a few things that, we all use these things, but do we actually know the difference? And I didn't. I must admit, I'd never really thought about it.
I kind of assumed that include, it would still carry on running the script if it didn't find the file, but require it, you can't keep running the script, it's just going to die there.
Okay. Edward?
That's exactly it. So include, with include, it allows you then to include, and if it doesn't find that script or it fails on that, it will still carry on. Require says you have to have it, and it will produce a an error notice or something.
Fatal error.
Fatal error.
So yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I'll give you both your point there. Obviously, require results in a fatal error and does not allow to continue the processing, whereas include will allow it to continue.
Does include actually send out an error? Because I don't know if I got that
no,
right then.
It just ignores it. I think it's a warning, but I'm not sure. It allows it to continue anyway. It doesn't kill the page. So, okay, this is, well, you may know the answer to this, but this is more like this one I found interesting. So, what are the functions in PHP which can compress and uncompress a string?
Oh, man.
I think this was a question or a similar question to this a few weeks ago. Well, I say a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago, and I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, we should have remembered these, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
You both want to pass on that one?
Oh,
compress?
no. Gzip string.
Fraser?
I'd just say compress.
You kind of got it right between you.
Gzip compress. Compress.
GZ compress and GZ uncompress.
And that you pass that as string, and then it would just do funky stuff to put it into gzip it. Awesome.
Compress, yeah, it's pretty good by the looks of it. This is a good one. I'd be amazed if either of you know the answer to it, but it's a really interesting one to learn about if you don't. What does the PHP function Levenstein do?
I know this.
Have you heard of it?
Is it an encryption thing?
No.
Okay. Levenstein.
Does it tell you how similar a word is to another one?
Yes.
Really?
It's only because I think I did this on a quiz once.
I found this out tonight. I thought, well, that could, depending on the kind of application you're making, this could be really helpful. But basically, do you ever need to find the need to determine how different or similar two words are? Levenstein is the function you need. This function can be super useful to track submitted typos. So if you've got string 1 caret spelt CARROT and string 2 caret spelt CARRROTT, and then you call those two strings into the Levenstein function, then it'll give you an output of 2, so it'll tell you there's 2 typos. I don't know if it tells you exactly
it's how many characters, isn't it?
Many characters are different, basically. So yeah. So I thought that'd be good. That's quite a useful one. I'd never heard of that before. So yes. I'm giving a point to Ed for that one, aren't I?
Yep.
Okay, so number, what am I on? 7. What does the function in PHP array column do?
Ooh, this is Ben Ramsey, isn't it? This is Ben Ramsey.
PHP array column.
Stop typing it.
I was getting my questions ready.
That spookily have array column.
No, I don't have the foggiest.
Again, this isn't one that I've used, but this is one that I definitely will be using. Anyone passing? Anyone having a go?
I can have a go.
I'll give it a go. Go on, you go first.
Right, so it's new in PHP 5.5, isn't it?
It's
Ben Ramsey made it. It's like array pluck, like an Laravel, where you have an array, or you can actually have objects. I think an array of objects, an array of associative arrays, and then you're able to say, "Look, give me this element out of it," and it will then return that. So you say, like, you have an array of users, and you say, "Just give me all their names," and it will just call it and do it. So say you just do an array map on it, and
but do you know about the third parameter?
Oh,
this is really helpful. This could be good.
Third parameter. You know what? I don't know.
So if you basically say you've got ID, first name, and last name as in your array, so you can go array column on that array and then say like first name to get those first names, and then if you pass ID as the second parameter, then it will sort them by the key of ID. How useful is that?
Oh, it will actually. It will make the key of it the ID, and then
the key will be.
Oh, that's so awesome! Hash maps, I love you. Hash tables, yes.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What Ed said. Okay, who's ready for a bit of crazy jQuery action?
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
this is Fraser's thing.
What? Okay, what does the $sign mean in jQuery?
It is a shortcut for jQuery.
Okay, Ed?
Yeah, I think so. Shortcut for jQuery.
Okay, yeah. $sign is nothing but an alias for jQuery, and jQuery can also be used as a keyword.
Yeah.
So you both got those right.
Because you can say jQuery no conflict, can't you? And then it won't override $.
Yeah. All right, question 9.
Oh, sorry.
Moo tools and
I'm not giving you. In fact, I'm deducting you a point for that. Fraser, you're now
psychic.
one behind with with one question to go, because Ed's just literally told question number 9. Can you substitute the dollar for something else? Yes, using jQuery conflict.
Oh. Opening my big mouth.
Genius. Okay. Is there any difference between body onload and the document ready function?
Yes.
Essentially 2 reasons.
Do you mean window? I use window onload, but
document
ready is when all the HTML and the CSS and stuff has, for instance, loaded and all the scripts have loaded, and window load or body load or whatever waits for images to be loaded completely as well, and other media and everything. So it's basically when everything's finished downloading, as opposed to when everything that is in place to get all the assets, I guess, is document ready.
Plus one to that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's another thing to point out is that window.onload or body onload can only be called once, but you can call document ready as many times as you like.
Okay.
Document ready is different from body onload function for 2 reasons. We can have more than one document ready function in a page, where we can only have one body onload, which I just said. Document ready function is called as soon as the DOM is loaded, where body onload function is called when everything gets loaded on that page. So that includes DOM images and all the associated resources of the page. So I didn't give Ed a chance to answer that, did I?
Plus one to that. That was exactly what I was going to say.
Well, yeah, you would say that, but this could be the difference between win or loss for Fraser. So I've got to make a decision here.
But in fairness, I can't take question 9. I can't take the conflict one because Ed answered that before you asked it. So I'm happy to not take the point for that one.
All right, well done, guys. The final score is 6-4 to Ed. Who's going next?
Can I go next?
Oh God.
Right. Okay. So most of them are multiple choice.
Okay.
So
how many multiples?
How many multiples? I don't know who wants to go first. Who wants to answer first, or shall I alternate between both of you?
However you feel.
Okay, I'll alternate. So first, number 1, first question: who invented the Ruby programming language in 1995? And you have 4 options. You have either Yorio, and his name's Matimato, or Matimato. This is how I completely butcher the name. James Gosling, Guario van Rossum, or Baran Stropstrup. Yeah, Strutstrup. Yeah, that is actually his name. I really am sorry for the pronunciations on those names.
Can I go first?
You can indeed.
It was the first one.
Okay, and Lewis?
I was really hoping one of the options was going to be something like Dr. Benjamin Ruby.
Dr. Benjamin, yeah. Well, you think that, wouldn't you? That they name it after themselves.
Steve PHP, Dave Python, or Ben. Yeah. Can you read them out again? Not the first one, because one of them rang a bell actually.
James Gosling,
Guario
van Rossum, or
James Gosling.
James Gosling. Okay, so Fraser gets 1 point there. It's
okay.
Mats. It's the Japanese guy. So James Gosling, he invented Java, or he's the father of Java.
Boom! I knew it was Japanese.
Guario van Rossum invented Python, and Baran Stropstrup invented C++. Okay. What does this is quite cool for PHP, and I've only found out about this extension today, and I was like, again, it's one of those things like you're thinking I could use.
Fraser, me and you are definitely going to know about it then.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
What does the C-type PHP extension do? And I'll give you a hint. Some of the functions that the C-type PHP extension have is C-type _alpha, C-type, and C-type is quite a C-type digital or C-type upper.
Well, the last time I checked,
does it allow
was
you
written
to
in B flat, so now it's gone upper.
C syntax.
Is there a lag?
There is a bit of lag, I think.
Both answered it exactly the same time then.
So who? All right, Lewis.
Yes.
What's the answer for C-type PHP extension?
I just gave a really, really funny answer, but I fear it was drowned out. But it may not have been. What were the options again? Sorry.
So no, there were no options. But the hint for this was C-type alpha, C-type digital, and C-type upper are functions that it has, and alpha, digital, and upper are hints on it. Or digit, sorry, alpha, digit, or upper.
Alpha, digit, or upper. I have no idea. I couldn't even guess that. Sorry.
That's okay. And Fraser?
It's going to be a very poor stab, but I'm guessing that it will allow you to write in C syntax.
So the answer is
that means no.
So the function provided by this extension checks whether a character or string falls into a certain character class according to the current locale. So you could actually say, is this string alpha? Is this string digits? Or is this string upper? It's quite cool because, we normally do like regular expressions and stuff for like checking if it's a number. Yep. Well, you could just do digit, which is quite cool. C-type underscore digit, which is quite nice. So it saves you having to give a nasty old regex, show it, because like beginners and stuff, showing
regex is horrible.
Which is it. I mean, like, for, thinking like, don't want to show that around, so you could use this instead, which is quite cool.
Okay.
So we are currently
still 0-0.
1-0 to Fraser.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, right. Okay.
So, right. So this is going to be a random one. So what? Again, this is another one that's like random. What does arity of a function mean? What does the arity of a function mean?
How's it spelled?
Arity.
The scope.
Fraser?
The scope?
So the answer is the number of arguments or operands the function or operation accepts. So it's like, the number...
It's functional marks. That's what I said earlier.
I know, you see. Exactly. Arity. And for some reason they call it... You may hear that sometimes saying, the arity of this function is 2, if it's like an add function. Like a nullary... This is quite funny. I Googled this and I was like, these are just funny names. So like a nullary function takes no arguments. So whenever you want to be like a complete sad ass and go, well, that function's nullary,
whenever you're like trying to show off in front of your mates.
Yeah, exactly. You're at a pub,
that function's nullary.
A unary function takes 1 argument. A binary function takes 2 arguments. A ternary function takes 3 arguments. Like the ternary condition thing you have. You have like that, yep. And then an nary function takes n arguments, which is just, multiple ones.
Okay.
So the next question is, what is the difference between ++i and I++? And Fraser, you can go first.
I++ adds 1 to I, and ++i adds the value of I to itself.
Lewis?
I++ concatenates an integer, and the other way round concatenates a string.
No, it's not that, unfortunately.
I can show you an article that
so I
says completely opposite to what I thought it did there.
Was it written by a monkey?
So I++ is a post increment, whereas ++i is a pre-increment. So it's quite sneaky. So if you say I++, it increments i's value by 1 after the operation is over. So say like you say like a equals I++. Yeah. It will actually be the value of I before you do the ++. Whereas ++i is pre-increment, and it actually increments the I value before the operation, so it will then use the ++, so you'll get the incremented, and then it will assign it.
Okay,
I've read a dodgy article there then.
This is a funny one. Okay, so what is the current latest release of Google Chrome? And I'll give you 4 right. Yeah, I'll give you 4 bands, right? It's either 40 or greater, 35 to 39, 30 to 34, or less than 30. And these are the major version. And Lou, you can go first.
35 to 40.
Okay, and Fraser.
Less than 30.
Okay, it is Lou. Lou's got that one. It is actually, this is the legit version of, as of today, 36.0.1985.125. This is how they increment loads quick. This is when auto updates go crazy. Okay, so we are 1-1 on this. This is a design pattern one. It's annoying because I thought Mickey was going to be here, but obviously, because he was into his design patterns. But this is a multiple choice again. What does the composite design pattern do? Does it either compose objects into tree structures to represent part-whole hierarchies, which lets the clients treat individual objects and compositions of objects uniformly? Well, that's a mouthful. Or,
are we supposed to memorize that?
This is it, right?
Or does
it decouple an abstraction from its implementation, allowing 2 to vary independently? Does it use sharing to support large numbers of similar objects efficiently, or does it provide a surrogate or placeholder for another object to control or access to it? I'm going to ask, does anyone want those read out again? Because
I'm going to say decoupling.
Which one would that be? That is so. That's the second one. And Fraser.
I would say D.
D. Provide a surrogate. So actually, it's the first one. The decouple one, decouple an abstraction from its implementation, is actually a bridge. Use sharing to support large numbers of similar objects efficiently as flyweight, because that's obviously a really good name for it. Provide a surrogate or placeholder for another object to control access to as a proxy. And then the composite is to compose object into... it's making it sound a lot more complicated than it is. Really, the composite pattern describes that a group of objects is to be treated the same way as a single instance. And one of the examples they've give is the idea of like a graphics implementation. And you have like an interface, good old interfaces again, Lou, and it has like a print method. And the idea there is, so like an ellipse or like a circle implements the print method, and it will print out a circle. But you can also have something called a composite graphic, which is like a boatload, like a couple of graphics in one. But that still implements the same interface as what a normal ellipse does, but it actually has multiple graphics. So then it'll have multiples, and you can say, so you call print like on the same, as you would on just a single instance of one, but you can then have it for multiple. This is a funny one. You brought a new... I stole this question, by the way. Sorry, guys. You brought a new 100 gigabyte drive, but Windows says you only have 93 gigabytes disk space left, or less. What happened to the missing disk space? So
it is because of the calculation, because it's 1024 per gig, isn't it? So it's basically saying... Is that right? So you've got 1024 bytes per gig. Sorry, 1024... Yeah, 1024 bytes per kilobyte, and then 1024 kilobytes per megabyte, 1024 megabytes per gigabyte, and then there's something with the calculation there.
Okay, and Luis.
I'm not a hardware guy at all. I haven't got a clue, I'm afraid.
That's all right. Well, yeah, so it is, Fraser, you're right. It's really weird. So hard drive manufacturers, they do their things in the terms of decimal, as we do it. So they would say, that a megabyte is 1,000 or 1,000, a million bytes, 1 gigabyte, and all that, et cetera, et cetera. But we actually think of it as in base 2 because we're programmers. So even though technically you're getting the same amount of space, it's quite interesting. This is one. So for each gigabyte advertised in base 10, you're actually receiving about 70 megabytes less. Really. So, people actually complain, and you see this sometimes in articles, like people were saying, oh, I bought a terabyte hard drive and I've only got 900 and something, space free. What happened there?
Yeah.
But really it's because for some reason, I don't know why they decided to do it in base 10, but they do it in base 10, but really we use base 2. So as you were saying, it's weird conversion thing. This is a Git question. So it's 2-1 at the moment. What does Git cherry pick do? And I'll give you some options. Does it pick cherries from your Git tree? Because obviously you need to pick cherries. Does it apply the changes introduced by some existing commits and apply those changes each one introduced, recording a new commit for each? Does it forward port local commits to the updated upstream head? Does it join 2 or more development histories together? And Lewis, you can go first.
It's got to be the second one.
Okay.
Where it grabs the random things. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what he said, but that's the one that sounded right.
And Fraser.
I was going to go for the second one as well. Am I allowed to go for the same one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You're both right. That's 3-2. So apply the changes introduced by some existing commits, and it applies the change each one introduces and records a new commit for each one. So I actually used this a couple of days ago where...
I was going to say, that sounds messy and risky.
So it's quite cool. It was a bit weird the way I was doing it. So I had my commits, and I'd committed it up. And then what I wanted to do was I wanted to keep one of my top commit, my head commit, the one I've just done, but I wanted to do a rebase, which is kind of like merge all the other commits together. So the way I did it was kind of scary. I actually got the SHA, the idea of my kind of what that commit, my head commit was. I rolled back to say, it doesn't exist anymore. Did my Git rebase, so now they're all merged together. And then I did a Git cherry pick to say, can you please add this to the top of it? So for a minute it didn't exist, but then it did again, which is always nice. But yeah, it's quite fun.
Well, you won't get conflicts or anything.
No, it will solve. It will come up saying, look, mate, you've got a merge conflict here, but it shouldn't actually because it implements them one after the other. So it's actually doing that. Then that it's because with merges, it's that when you get the 3-way merge where it goes, I don't know what's going on, and that's where you get your merges.
Okay.
That's another thing actually. Tower 2's out. The new. I don't know if you use Tower, Lou.
I've used Tower briefly. Yeah,
Tower's awesome. Tower 2 looks pretty interesting. It's got a weird UI, like a new kind of way of workflow, but definitely have to check that out. What does the HTML5 output element do? So there's an output element tag. And I had no idea it existed.
My guess would be that it's something to do with audio.
Okay.
Maybe.
I had no idea that this existed. It's crazy.
Is it the format of an audio or something like that?
So it's really weird. It represents the result of a calculation or user action. So you could use it like, which is quite cool. So like you do like loan calculators and stuff in JavaScript, and what you would do is instead of like just having a div saying result, you'd actually use this output element tag.
Okay.
And then you're able then to say, put it in there. So it gives more context of what's actually happening there.
Right.
So, and this is the last one. Who is considered the world's first computer programmer? And if you get this, you are a computer history geek.
Mahatma Gandhi.
I like it. I like the naming.
I've actually reversed your question and gone with who's the least likely person. That was my thought process there.
And Fraser.
Abraham Lincoln.
It's actually Ada Lovelace, and she was a lady. And she was born in...
She was a lady.
1815, and she died in 1852.
Oh, so she didn't have long.
She didn't have long, but she was an English mathematician and writer, chiefly known for her work on Charles Babbage's early mechanical general-purpose computer, the analytical machine, or engine, sorry. Her notes on the engine, which is recognised as the first algorithm intended to be carried out by the machine. And the whole thing was that she actually was translating this short article that was written in Italian into English, and Babbage then said, look, she understands the machine so well, and she ended up writing a lot more stuff, and then she was credited for being the first person to write a computer program. So it's quite cool.
Well done, Ada.
I know, and that's why the language is named after. There's a language called Ada named after her. So there you go.
Boom. Well, these are going to be sort of front-endy ones. Yeah, they're pretty much all front-endy ones, apart from one. Yeah, there's only one non-front-endy one. And I have to say, I say about half the questions I did, in quotation marks, borrow from an online quiz. We'll put a link to that one in. It was... Let me try and just read out what it was anyway. It was... Actually, I can't tell you now anyway, because...
Yeah, but put it in the show notes
you'll find it. Okay, so, kicking off... are CSS property names case sensitive?
I hate you so much. Who answers first?
Let's go with you.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Only because I think I've seen property, because I'm sure I've seen people do it uppercase. Because some people are like, I prefer uppercase; it looks fancier.
Yeah, I think no as well.
Yeah, you are both correct. So let me mark you one down for that. Okay, so another CSS one. Does setting margin top and margin bottom have an effect on an inline element? So say you've got a span tag, and so you've got a block of text, and you've got span cheese, because you like cheese, and then you apply with CSS you apply a margin top or a margin bottom. What effect does it have?
Can I
just
say, by the way, it was awesome that you found cheese in the thinking back to last week's episode, the Echo cheese. I thought that was amazing. I found that in the project. I think there needs to be a grep before you push anything, just to check to make sure we don't have our local dev words in it, like developer debug words.
Yeah, the developer actually got in touch with us and said, "There's an Echo cheese in there for some reason."
It's exactly what it needs.
Debug code.
Lou, do you want to go first?
Is the question, does it have an effect, or what is the effect that it has?
Extra points if you can... Actually, no, because that just gives it away.
So there is. Okay, right. So
the question is...
little bit more questioning, and I can get this out of you.
Okay, the question is, does setting margin top and bottom have an effect on an inline element?
I'm going to say... I've never experienced this, but I'm going to say yes, and it clears it to another line or something.
Okay, Ed?
I'm going to say no, because I just want to be different.
Yeah, Ed, you got it right. I threw you a little curveball there.
Oh, man.
But you just... Fraser.
Exactly, it was a curveball, man.
You're mean.
That was genius.
Unbelievable. All these years of trust built up, just gone.
No, it's just all out the window.
Gone in a heartbeat.
Like a snake. Right, okay, so if you have a paragraph element, a P element, with font size 10 rem, so that's the relative EMs, will the text be responsive when the user resizes, stroke drags the browser window?
Is that is that the EM one?
It's the rem one, so the relative EM.
So REM or just EM?
Yeah, REM. Yeah.
REM. Wow, the band. Wait,
they're a good band. I like them.
they are indeed. Yeah. I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna say no.
And Lewis has scored.
Yeah, because I've done that before, and I looked for ages trying to find a way of doing that, and I couldn't find it without just
JavaScript.
Just actually, without media queries and stuff. So
yeah, because the rem is obviously it's relative, but it's based on your body font size.
Boom.
So yeah, it doesn't matter if you resize your browser at all, or if you drag the window. So let's have a look. True or false? The pseudo class checked will select inputs with type radio or checkbox, but not option elements.
True.
Yeah, because it's selected.
You are both wrong.
What?
It's false.
What?
The question was maybe worded quite badly, to be honest with you.
You're just mean. You are a snake.
Yeah. You can't play with people like this, Fraser.
I know. I think honestly, it was just like another curveball with the way the question was worded. But I stole that one as well. That was another stolen one. So don't blame me. Blame this website that I'm not going to reveal to you now, but we will reveal in the show notes.
Fine.
For writing a crap quiz. Right. So in an HTML document, the pseudo class root always refers to the HTML element. True or false?
The pseudo element.
The pseudo class root always refers to the HTML element.
And that's in CSS.
That is in HTML.
In HTML root. There's a root.
Yeah.
Sorry, the HTML. The HTML element.
Yes.
It always. Yes, true.
Okay. And Lewis?
I've never heard of it, but
is it just a tag? It's the tag that you put in. You enclose all of the other tags in the element tag. I'm thinking.
Don't give me any credit for this because I don't know. So go for it. I've not heard of that. That's obscure to me.
So true or false?
False.
Okay, so
is that a curveball because it doesn't exist?
No, that wasn't a curveball. That was a fastball. That one. So Ed got that right because it is true, and Lewis, I'm afraid, did not get that right because it was true still.
Was Ed's explanation correct?
I don't actually know. That was another one.
Oh, dear, I
would have been
quizzes.
in the same boat as you if someone had asked me that question.
These listeners are really learning stuff tonight.
I know. But there's after this one, are ones that I actually wrote myself, which is going to be
which means they're going to be wrong.
Which means we're screwed.
Right. Okay. So this is the last one that I didn't write. Okay. So the translate function can move the position of an element on the z-axis, true or false, and that's CSS translate.
False.
True. And Ed is correct again.
Is that 3D translate?
Sorry, we're lagging again.
Z.
I said no.
Lag. Isn't it translates for 2D
doing
stuff?
There, Lewis. Very sneaky.
Translates for 2D stuff, isn't it? And then 3D translate. Yeah, I think that.
Okay, so moving on. In less.
Oh man, I hate you now.
No, because you introduced me to less, so you should know this.
I like sass. I'm sassy.
I'm a sass man.
Okay, well, you could be knackered then. Unless this is a simple question anyway. This is less fundamental.
101.
Right? Yeah. Right. Unless, how do you declare a variable?
False. Oh, sorry. Lou, do you want to do it first?
In SAS, you can do it with a no. In the same way SAS with a $sign.
Is that your answer?
Yeah.
Ed?
I'm going to say an @, because I think they want to be different.
Ed is correct.
Are they really? I knew they want to be different. Why do they always want to be different?
Well, less came around first, didn't it?
But less is
so I think
more,
it was SAS that wanted
I
to
think,
be different.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm putting myself
it's
through
like
this
PHP,
again.
man. It's like PHP.
The ugly pink SAS website, isn't it? They've got a new website
They
now.
got a new sassy one now.
Is it pink still?
I don't know.
Because that was the reason that I didn't like SAS.
I know. It's sold on the website.
Yeah,
and that's
because it was a crap. Like it had a picture. Oh, it has changed, but it was like a lady with a dinner plate or something, wasn't it? On the previous one, I think.
I think she had like a phone or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. Right. So
Lou looks like he's dead. I don't know what he's doing there. See up his nose.
Right. Okay. So, what is the very latest version of PHP which has been released? And I'll give you a clue. It was released on the 24th of July, which is 6 days.
I upgraded to this, and this is what the whole version. Right. Is it?
Can I go with the first bit? I know. It's something like 5.6.03 or something like that.
Is this like official release or is this beta release? Ooh,
This is official release.
official.
Yeah.
Ah,
I think.
I upgraded to this like a couple of days ago.
What did it say?
5.5.15.
Yeah.
I think.
I think it's 5.5. Oh, is it 0.13? Is there a 13 in there somewhere? Maybe that's it.
Not sure.
Lucky number.
It's definitely 5.5 point something, but it's the next bit.
5.5.1, Lewis.
Well, rounded down, I'm the nearest.
Well, you're not, because Ed got it on the nose.
Did you say that?
5.5.15, yeah.
All right.
Just insane.
This is not going well for me tonight.
It's because I upgraded like a couple of days ago.
Yeah, what a coincidence that is. It's not, you just knew it.
Just click update and then have like all this stuff happen in the background to actually sit there and pay enough attention to it to realise that it is 5.5.
Sometimes I check the diffs just to see like what they've been doing, but that's because it's been sad.
That's all right.
The change logs.
It obviously works because, you win
the quiz. For a quiz,
all that hard work's just literally paid off, Ed, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dear.
Okay, so question number 9. This is another one I wrote myself like a boss. Which of these is not an HTML5 element? Is it off topic? Is it data list? Is it fig caption? Or is it meter?
I'm going to say meter.
What was the first one again?
First one was off topic.
Yeah, off topic. That's my answer.
Lewis has smashed that the park like a boss.
Like a boss, man. What is meter then? What is that used for?
I'm not actually sure. I actually just went through a list of 5
tags. Is that
tags.
to do with progress bars or something?
Let's have a look. Meter HTML. I'm just kind of hoping this isn't my first attempt at putting one in to throw you off. Oh no, it is something. Yeah, HTML5. There we go. Let's have a look. It is to measure data within a given range.
Yeah, progress bars.
Nice.
Yeah. Boom. Okay, so
HTML5 has got everything.
I know, it's amazing.
It's the world.
Right. So, which of these is not a jQuery event? Resize, scroll, mouse move, or trigger?
A jQuery function.
Yeah, which of these is not a jQuery event? Is it resize, scroll, mouse move, or trigger?
Mouse move for me.
Resize.
And Ed has smashed it out again.
No.
Do you remember your window? With resize, I was like, could you do window resize, don't you?
Yeah, but you're talking about jQuery, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, of course. Yes. Yeah, you use it with that. Oh, my God. Don't worry.
That actually surprised me that it had resize, because whenever I want to monitor for someone resizing the browser, I'll generally go for scroll, I think, because scroll is triggered when you resize the browser window as well.
Because he's kind of technically scrolling.
Yeah, repositioning the scroll bars. But so that was a surprise to me.
Damn, I should have got that.
So scores from that round: Ed has scored 7, and Lewis has scored 3.
Fantastic.
So I think
don't all praise me at once, guys.
I think we can safely say that Ed may have won the competition.
We've all learned something today, because I know that meter now is a freaking...
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, we should do. We should all try and do something by next week that actually incorporates that.
Yeah, tag. We all have to in GitHub, and you GitHub it, and we code. Yes. We comment on each other's code, and we do unit testing, and we go boom. I like it.
Boom. Absolutely. Right, let's do it. Right, so final scores then. I guess you got 16. Did you, Ed?
I think I got 13. It says, but I don't know. I'll take 16.
Yes, you did. No, sorry, my maths is 13. Bad. Yeah, because you got 6 against me and 7 against Lewis, and then I got 4.
You got 7, I think.
4 and 7. Did I get 7 in total?
Yeah, I think
that's really poor, isn't it?
So what did I get?
You got 5.
Well, that's even worse. So, Fraser, thanks for that.
No worries, man. It was good fun, but yeah. So we've still got 10 questions left from Michael. Obviously, he wasn't here with us tonight, so we will go through
in possession of
next
them.
week.
I have got them. Well, to be fair, we all got them. To be fair, so it doesn't really matter.
Has anybody looked at them?
No. I think I don't know whether to leave them for next week so we can.
I'll make a gentleman's agreement that I won't look at it.
Yeah, I won't either.
Because it's no fun, is it?
Okay.
Otherwise,
well, that is it. It's all about fun and learning.
Back. Right, so yeah, there we go.
It's been an awesome podcast, guys.
It has been a good podcast. We've been going about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's
so
a bit of material here.
Absolutely, yeah. So just if anybody out there would like to send us emails or follow us on Twitter or send us tweets, we love hearing from you. If anyone's got any topics of what we'd like to talk about.
Rate us on iTunes because I think we need to do that and say that because, please.
Yes, that would be fantastic. If anybody did fancy rating us on iTunes, we will give you a public thank you because we have 3 on there. And one was Justin and one was me, and we have one genuine one on there.
Yeah, we had a legit one. You can probably see the ones that Justin and Fraser.
Yeah.
And you can buy T-shirts. We don't get any money for them. They're just there at shop. I'm going to make it shop.3devsandamaybe.com.
Yeah, I have one. It's amazing.
Hey, thank you. I know. Awesome, aren't they?
They're really cool.
And Lewis said a couple of days ago on Twitter about Q&A. It'd be really cool, if we do get questions in and stuff, to do another episode in Q&A and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good episode.
It was nice having a little chat about it and stuff, and hopefully we'll get on a couple more guests.
I had a good trawl through each show that we've done to look at the comments, actually, see if we'd missed any. But I think you grabbed them all. I couldn't see anything that we didn't go through on the other one.
Do you know what that means?
Actually, I wasn't
People need to comment more.
Yes.
Comment
and
more.
Send us messages, send us emails.
Send us pictures, just whatever, videos.
Yeah.
Audio,
Because we love hearing from you beautiful people.
Our fans, as you say.
Oh, no,
millions and millions
that was
of
horrendous.
fans around the world.
The listeners, yeah.
Oh, dear. But anyway, guys, it's been an awesome podcast. I hope everything's all right with Mickey. And,
all the best, Mick.
Yeah, you could have a baby by this time next week. So
he could indeed. We'll see.
Baby Bud Junior.
Bud Junior. Oh dear, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, been awesome, guys, and listeners. We will see you next week. And goodbye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to 3 Devs and a Maybe. You can contact us at contact@3devsandamaybe.com or follow us on Twitter at 3 Devs and a Maybe.